got us going with this march to say, listen, what the hell's going on? What is your opinion on what's happening up there with regards to the marches? Well, and your opinion of maybe the aftermath of what, if anything came about of it? Are there more people waking up?
I didn't go.
That's okay.
Concerned about the immigration thing because I am an immigrant. I arrived here when I was 7.
Yep.
You know, there were people saying that, oh, can you believe it? 30% of Australians, one or both parents born overseas. And it's like, that's been the data since the 70s, frankly, because it includes from English speaking countries as well. And then some people were saying, oh, you know, if people have both parents born overseas, they really all should go back. And I think I came here when I was 7. It wasn't even my choice. And I'm glad I'm here. I would never go back to Egypt.
Well, you're here now with this fight with 4 magnificent.
Fearful.
We'll go to that one in a minute. I want everyone's opinion on that one. Sorry to interrupt.
The demographic is aging. I mean, I've been a member of both major political parties, but the last one was with the Libs. And I remember meeting all the pre-selectors and saying to my friend, like, they're going to be dead by the time you run. Right, like literally, not in a bad way, but that is the reality of the major parties, and they are attracting some young people, but I don't think the extent. You know, the ALP is fortunate because it's now in government, so it'll get a whole lot of young people joining because they're getting jobs and all of that. And they've got to funnel through the unions, really. So, you know, I just don't see, as Lee said, if we're trying to change the current political landscape, it's just not going to happen. You know,
you're all looking at over-compliance with regards to the government. What are your thoughts? You've got a very big insight.
Well, I think being involved in the industry for a long time, there's a lot of compliance in place now where we don't get a lot of benefit from it. You know, it's not measured very well, or there's no auditing. It really just seems to be compliance and ticking boxes. And really, at the end of the day, after you tick the box, you just pay the price. Great example is the labour hire licence in Victoria. It was costing us about $8,000 or $9,000 a year. We'd been contracting for 30 odd years. I think it came in about 5 or 6 years ago. Never see anything from the Labour Hire Authority at all. No auditing, no information, no assistance, and you just pay $8,000 a year and you fill your paperwork in once a year, and that's about it. So there's layers and layers of compliance, and I believe planning permits, building permits, it should be scalable, because once you continue to put compliance in, you start to discriminate against people without wealth, because basically you just can't afford. If you're living on the borderline and you want to put a $5,000 or $10,000 shed in, it'd probably cost you double that to go through the planning process, and you have to do that before it's even approved. So there's a lot of compliance across the board. There's basically making small businesses struggle. I also see tax laws and compliance laws that assist large organisations more so. So basically, it looks like they don't really want small business around, and I know a lot of people. I've just shut one of my businesses down, and it's just not worthwhile anymore. So I think the incompetence in the government. I think that we're more bureaucratic now, and there's so much.
That I'm getting a lot of people talking about on my content.
Right.
I'm sure.
Sorry, I got a bit of a delay, so I do apologise if I do jump in. Sorry, keep going.
No, you go.
I was going to say, with regards to the word mass immigration, because we're going to talk about the rallies as well, that we've seen firsthand. Have you found a trend with regards to people using that word in the wrong way, if you get where I'm going? It's not actually... And Lee's on there. Lee, thanks for joining us, my friend. Looking forward to hearing your input. You're a star. Emma, are you finding that they're using mass immigration in that way to push to divide, or they're actually using the word with regards to government compliance? We go from there. What are you thinking about that?
Are you talking about the people in my
the circle that you found? That's why I invited you on, because you got some great content. I read a few of the comments, and you're basically like us.
Yeah, oh, yeah, 100%. So it's very divided. Like you've got people like us that are talking about mass immigration, and then people just hear the word immigration and automatically assume that, oh, you're a racist, you don't like brown people in Australia, which really annoys me because immigrants aren't all brown. What are you talking about? It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with color. And I think people are misinterpreting the word immigration and, you're trying to deport and you're trying to slow it down. Well, that's not it at all. I'm talking about mass. I'm talking about mass immigration. I'm not talking about immigration.
Lee, I'm having a cup of tea there, my friend. How are you going? Whoever's got the tea tonight. Lee, tell us you're on the pulse with this, my friend, and talking about over compliance. Your main issue, not issue, but your main idea is to say, look, let's look at over compliance, and I think that's what Emma, I think Kat, and want to do a big shout out to our friends and supporters at Liberty Bullion. Sammy and the team are the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Australia. Make good choices. Give them a call. Back to the show.
Messaged Jared a few times, and I had lives with Madison King and a few other people, and I think the political party that forgets about the political game and actually asks what the people want, and we've spoken about some policies today, they'll get the people. But I'm still concerned that even if you got the people to change the system in its current state, I would think it's years and years and years. And so I would like to do things in parallel. I think it's death by 1,000 cuts. So I think you need to have a party such as, One Nation or whatever doing what they're doing. But on the same token, I think we need to be a little bit bigger, because I actually think the human race needs to evolve here, not Australia, not England, not America. I actually think it's time for the human race to actually step up a touch.
What do you reckon, Emma?
Say what the question was again. I was answering.
Right, and so what I'm sort of saying is let's flip the narrative. We keep going to the political parties. We keep questioning the political parties. I believe us as a people should start the dialogue to say, well, what do the people want? Right? They actually work for us. What do we want? Well, we want a healthy country. We don't want preferential voting. Like I would even like to throw up a policy. Like what is there in the Senate? 82 or 84 seats?
The 76 is it? Or?
76 is there. I'd even like to see a policy of 10 of those seats are actually public people elected by public people, so they're actually not tied to a party, and what they are, because at the end of the day, if you either have Labor or Liberal, it's roughly sort of half-half. It's win or loss, right? Just because one side wins doesn't mean the other side needs to win.
Things that I'm getting a lot of people talking about on my content.
Right,
I'm sure.
Sorry, I got a bit of a delay, so I do apologise if I do jump in. Sorry, keep going.
No, you go.
I was going to say with regards to the word mass immigration, because we're going to talk about the rallies as well, that we've seen firsthand. Have you found a trend with regards to people using that word in the wrong way, if you get where I'm going? It's not actually... And Lee's on there. Lee, thanks for joining us, my friend. Looking forward to hearing your input. You're a star. Emma, are you finding that they're using mass immigration in that way to push to divide, or they're actually using the word with regards to government compliance? We go from there. What are you thinking about that?
Are you talking about the people in my
the circle that you found? That's why I invited you on, because you got some great content. I read a few of the comments, but I want to go to Kat with policies with One Nation, with what's happening right now. What is One Nation doing exactly? She's looking them up. I can see it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I
what
just
are
want
they
to
doing
make
to get people out? Like, say, for example, what Lee and Emma are getting out, and we're all doing. We're all actually going, we're frustrated. We're saying what we need to say. What are the head honchos doing at the moment? Because they must be seeing some sort of trend to get them all moving. Or are they restricted? What's happening?
Look, everything's been pretty much. There hasn't been any updates for a little while on regards to policies, because I think Pauline's always sort of had all of her main issues, and they've always stayed the same. They haven't sort of flip-flopped from one side to the other. She's had her path and she's stuck to her guns, and I think that's probably something that's been positive. Maybe she could tweak things here and there. I know, like Lee brought up earlier, about getting rid of preferential voting. I know in the offices, they would love to see that go. But otherwise, everything's pretty much. I do believe they are looking for fresh talent coming up. I know that because I think we're starting up what we're calling Young Nation, where we want to start concentrating and educating the younger generation as opposed to the oldies, because they are an aging party and we need younger people like from our age and down. Yep. So Young Nations is going to concentrate on 18 to 35s. Yep. I do believe they had their very first unofficial gathering, I think at Riverfire in the city the other week.
Are they educating them on politics as well? Like, for example, they've got everyone on here has an idea, and I'll get to Annie in a minute with regards to what actually is happening in there. But are they educating them in that way? What are they doing? I should say recruit. That sounds really bad.
I guess so, yeah. So obviously, like I know Gerard's also, working overtime trying to get some branch meetings up. But so is One Nation. We've got about a dozen different branch meetings all around. We've got one coming up.
So for me, it's more like, well, you should start a platform. We need to be doing something. And to be really honest with you, the most that I've done so far is we've done the march, and I felt so good about it. I'm like, okay, what else can I do? And then people are coming to me saying, you should be going to your local senator, you should be going to this, and I was like, okay, let's start doing that. So far, I've just started like getting involved with all that sort of stuff. For me, it's just about talking about it and getting other people to talk about it as well, because I feel like I'm not the only one. Initially, I thought I was the only one, so well done. That's kind of how it is at the moment. And what I find with a lot of people that comment, and I get so many DMs, probably 99% of the DMs that I get are people just saying, thank you for saying what we all think, and thank you for saying it out loud, because we don't have the guts to say it, because I don't want to be called a racist. I don't want to be called a bigot. I don't want to be called this, that, and everything else. So for me, it's just having a voice for people for most of us in Australia, really.
And this is about the round table. This is exactly what I do. But what I want to know is, you've been on there 2 months, and you have the march, and I've seen some of your videos, those videos that say exactly what we're thinking. Have you had any real, big moments in yourself that you found out and go, right, with regards to government compliance, taxes, councils, anything that's coming where you live? You don't have to say where you live or anything like that, but people come to you asking for advice on on what's happening when it's sort of like triggered a memory or triggered something. We go, hang on a minute, we're paying too much or anything like that. Has that come up a lot?
Not so much. I think the biggest one was the one that I put up about the bedroom tax, more federal stuff rather than state stuff. Yep. It's more when I was talking about, the bedroom tax. And look, that wasn't something that I said that the government's definitely bringing that in. It was something that was just spoken about, and it got a lot of people riled up, and people were like, okay, let's get to, like, people actually saying in the comments, let's get together and we need to stop this. We can't have the government doing that, and we can't have the government doing this and that and everything else. So that's probably the most that I've had so far.
But we never marched about shit going on overseas. And that's the thing that has really changed everything. And, we fought for Australia. We marched for Australia. I remember the dismissal. My mum was at the town hall singing Shame, Fraser, Shame in 1973. So, I don't know, it was a different era. But now we're seeing people bringing those vested interests from overseas here and then taking to the streets and then fighting, and that's not the Australia that I'm comfortable with. I mean, sure, fight for things that you don't think are right, but my family just never did that. And most of that generation that arrived in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, 80s, generally were like that. The other thing I want to say is Australia.
Have you got a story to share? The experiences that you went through those dark times need to be told, need to be heard. The teachings, the lessons. I know when I had a stroke scare that it changed my life. My name's Jay from Journey of a Whitefeather, and I run a show on Spotify and all good platforms called A Chat with Jay. I talk to normal everyday people who have had experiences that need to share their teachings with the world. I speak to celebrities who are there, who can give you advice how to become a better person. Bruce Buffer, the Kings of Disco, Blackie Lawless from Wasp, so many people, but I love talking to the normal everyday person that gets up every morning to be their best self. If you want to be a guest, whitewarriorhealth@gmail.com. Check out our socials, hashtag Jay Stefanson, hashtag Journey of a Whitefeather. Take care and always be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.